Well, we are a year into the part of the auto insurance law overhaul that made a lot of changes to auto no-fault coverage options, and those changes affect everyone who buys car insurance here in Michigan. So here to break it all down and give us a refresher is attorney Tom Sinus of the Sinus Dramus Law Firm. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. If you wouldn't mind giving everybody a refresher, what exactly is auto no-fault coverage?
It's a great place to start. The phrase auto no-fault coverage, we say it a lot, but sometimes I think it's confusing what it means. But there's a little helpful nugget in the name, no fault, meaning that this is the type of coverage that people buy to protect themselves and the family with whom they live in the event that they are injured in an automobile accident. There are, of course, various claims that can arise from an auto accident. Some of them depend on fault, some of them do not. And in this case, the ones that do not are things that fall under this umbrella of auto no-fault coverage. So what's under the umbrella? Well, there are two significant things, and I think the first is perhaps the most significant. The first is medical expense coverage. It's broader than just pure medical expenses. It can include things like in-home therapy, in-home attendant care service. But that's the first component of no-fault coverage, the medical expenses. The second, most important, are wage replacement. And this is wage replacement for as many as 3 years after a crash. And then there's a third, smaller of the three, that is designed to replace the sort of everyday household chores that people can no longer do if they're injured in an auto accident. So those are the three things, medical, wage, and chores, that fall under this umbrella called no-fault coverage that people, again, are able to access regardless of fault. Of course, though, as you alluded to in the beginning, it depends on the choices that people make in terms of buying no-fault coverage.
So how has this law that's changed affect the way that people go about choosing this no-fault coverage?
A huge change in 2020, in the summer of 2020. What happened before that is that, as you mentioned, everyone who has a car has to insure the car, including with no-fault coverage. And before 2020, everyone was required to buy a form of no-fault coverage that had, on the medical expense side, an unlimited amount of coverage, meaning no limit in a dollar sense. And that was true for almost 40 years of our no-fault system. In 2020, the law changed, and people are now able to choose an amount that is less than unlimited. Of course, and on one hand, it sounds good, right, to be able to choose. But the real conundrum is, well, what choice should you make? And can you really make an informed choice about something that you don't know whether or not it will happen? And so now people are asked, do I want to choose that unlimited medical expense coverage? That's the choice that I make, for example. Or do I want to choose something less? The something less, most common, are $500,000 in medical expense coverage. Next level down from there is $250,000. There are other choices that are available to people with different kinds of health insurance. So for those people, for example, who are on Medicare, they can opt out entirely of this medical expense coverage. People on Medicaid can choose a $50,000 coverage level. And then people who have a certain kind of health insurance that will cover them in an auto accident, they can also choose to opt out of this no-fault medical expense coverage. So now the challenge for everyone is to make a choice that they think that they can afford, of course, but also that they think that will adequately protect them and their family in the event that this horrible thing happens to them. And that really is the difference of what's happened now, starting in 2020, versus the years before.
So it sounds like there's a lot to sort out, and you're there to help them. So where can they go for some more information?
So they can go to our website, sinusdramus.com. We have a lot of information there about the auto no-fault law. We also have a special publication that we put out last year that is designed to help people make good choices in buying auto insurance coverage. So if you go to our website and you go to the free literature section, you can download that special brochure that helps people make good choices on buying auto insurance.
Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.